across Texas. The issue is.
I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas.
I'm Greg Grugan in Houston.
I'm Rudy Koski in Austin, and this is Texas, the issue is.
2024 is going to be a huge year in the world of politics. And so tonight we're going to talk about some topics that will be making headlines this year. First, starting with the presidential election, South Carolina former Governor Nikki Haley is surging in the polls in the Republican primary, but former President Donald Trump still has a huge lead. Greg Grugan, you're first. Is this just Donald Trump's world?
Yeah, Stephen, barring some unforeseen circumstance, a rematch is apparently all but set in stone. And you will not find anyone who is speaking honestly to say different, including key advisors for Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley for that matter. Even a potential conviction of former President Trump on any of the myriad of criminal charges he's facing will simply roll off the backs of most Republican primary voters who seem to double down on the front runner with every new indictment and allegation. As for President Biden, a catastrophic health crisis is the only circumstance I could see which could potentially prompt him to step aside. Bottom line, if either candidate departs the top of their party's ticket, it would be the biggest political story of the year.
Rudy, what do you think?
Wow, Greg is drinking from that Trump punch bowl, right? Well, you know, the spin from the Trump camp essentially since April Fool's Day last year has been the GOP primary race is over. But in politics, look, it's never over. So I disagree with Greg. Certainly, the polls do show Trump has a big lead over Haley and DeSantis, but the negative ads from the Trump campaign machine, they've ramped up lately, showing signs of what I consider to be desperation and concern. So I don't think it's totally over, not yet, and not even after the early Big Four primary votes are counted in Iowa, New Hampshire later this month, and Nevada and South Carolina in early February. So it's going to be interesting to see if crossover voting by Democrats will factor into the GOP primary race. That's why I'm not hopping onto that bandwagon with Greg there.
Democrats are eager here locally to try to flip some seats, but it's already an uphill battle because they're in Texas, and on top of that, could the top of the ticket hurt them, Greg Grugan?
Yeah, I think there's no question Biden hurts Democrats in Texas, in large part due to his inexplicable refusal to come anywhere close to adequately securing the border. As far as congressional seats, Democrats in Texas will be fortunate to salvage what they have, given the two genuine battleground races involve seats in the Rio Grande Valley, where Republican incumbent Monica de la Cruz is the favorite in CD15, and Democrat Vicente Gonzalez is facing another stiff challenge from former GOP Congresswoman Mayra Flores in Texas 34. Now, based upon what I've seen, the flow of undocumented people and illegal drugs has only gotten worse in the past 2 years, and the Democrat in the White House and the Democrats in Congress have done nothing to change that. And in the Lone Star State, that matters.
Rudy, state-wise, Democrats have an uphill battle. Now, if you look nationally, it's a little different, but in Texas, Democrats have an uphill battle. Do they have any chance of gaining any seats?
You know, I've got to agree with Greg now. You know, the political tea leaves say the congressional delegation makeup in Texas will remain status quo. Now, with that said, I've always questioned conventional wisdom, especially in such a very strange year of political extremism with the Democrats and Republican parties both going hard left, hard right. So, like Greg said, keep an eye on South Texas. The GOP has been investing a lot of time there, and with the recent migrant surges that Greg mentioned, the Democrats in South Texas, they're certainly feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of pushback from voters. So I'm also curious about how Sheila Jackson Lee will bounce back from her big loss in the Houston mayor race. Jackson Lee took some hard hits in that race with Whitmire, got some strong support from moderates, Whitmire did, and conservatives. Now, Jackson Lee has some young progressive challengers that she's got to deal with. The other congressional primary races to watch, maybe up North Texas where you are, Stephen. We'll have to see how extreme things go with the seats being vacated by Republicans Granger and Burgess. The seats currently held by Democrat Colin Allred. That's also up for grabs since he has decided to run for Senate, try to get that nomination to go against Ted Cruz. By November, it looks like Texas will provide the national GOP its red chair quota. But in D.C., on Capitol Hill, a Republican House majority, that may not be a lockdown bet just yet.
All right, we are not done yet. The Fox Texas Trio will be right back after this break.